Welcome home, welcome back. I'm your host, Dominic Raphael, or you can call me the Doctor, because the Doctor is in, and this is Up in Canada. I've been sponsoring a series over the last week or so called Big Box Stores, and it's just a little take on my experiences in the box stores when I go to purchase items that are pretty essential to everyday living. What is hard to understand and hard to accept is the bereavement, bombardment, and backlash that I continue to get when it comes to shopping at Costco. The reason for it is that when I start recording either vocally or videoly my experiences, it is usually because I feel I am being stalked by unknown sources. Now, I call it a conspiracy theorist or call it a paranoia, but it's not a paranoia. See, I have a very high threshold and sensitivity to people's emotions and feelings, and I can read their auras just from walking into a room. Something I've always been able to do since I was very, very young. Needless to say, when I was at the Costco store down in on St. James, I went to go pick up a wiper blade from my truck. Because of course, winter, ice breaking, and everything's made so cheaply with the connections and those clips, so that they constantly break, so you're constantly having to buy something. Anyways, what I found odd is that I was walking down an aisle, and just as I come out in front of the fridges and freezers, and that wide aisle just past the clothes, I have this lady who stares me down for the moment she starts to see me, engage me, and then passes me. And she wasn't looking at me physically, like eye-to-eye contact. What she was doing is she was looking at my pocket. And I immediately understood that this one in particular person, who I don't know for a hole in the ground, has actually heard or has been told that I record some of my adventures in some of these box stores. And when I don't take the time to do it, I usually write down all the incidences on the receipt. And it gives me a record of how people are treated in general. Me particularly, doesn't really matter. But it seems rather intriguing to see how people can react to your presence without even knowing you. And as I say on my channel, and it is my heading, that I don't know you, so you don't know me. So why don't you just stop pretending you do? Very simply put, don't judge a book by its color. Because in a book, there are many chapters. And every chapter is different, just like every person is different. But when you start to categorize people in a certain spectrum, and for someone like myself, and as I said before, that we have an eighth sense to our abilities as a human species, people don't really pay attention to them or listen to them, but they are they are just like biological animals in the wild. It's the flight or fight scenario, and the only way we can do this is by by surviving. That's part of our survival methods. It does get very confusing when it comes to the social justice of this country and the world, because it all ends up being an interpretation to the individual or the individual situation. It's never like Wikipedia, as it explains the meanings of some things and some phrases and other activities. It's pretty much just how someone can interpret it. But I can interpret things quite well. I used to think of it as a burden to have this hypersensitivity to people's emotions and feelings. And now I consider it a gift because it shows me the true nature of people and how, for the majority of us, not speaking as individuals in general, but for the majority of society, they don't use their eighth sense. They follow the eighth sensors, if that makes any sense. In other words, they don't really follow their own instinct. They follow many others who have come before us. So with that in mind, and a different take on the block store chains, this is Dominic Raphael. Or you can call me the Doctor, because the Doctor is signing out. So cheers from up in Canada.